Regional Tourism Secretariat, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's virtual announcement. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I am speaking to you from the ancestral territories of the Kwakwaka'wakw, the Nuu-chah-nulth, and Coast Salish peoples, specifically on the lands of the Snuneymuxw people. The BCRTS would also like to gratefully acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the 204 First Nations in British Columbia. Please reflect on your own territory where you are today, and we gratefully acknowledge our being here. I am pleased that we have so many tourism champions and advocates joining us today for today's announcement. I would like to ask that all of you please ensure your video and mics are turned off during the presentation so we can hear without interruption each of our featured speakers. I know there are media joining us today, and for those of you who have questions or would like to conduct an interview, please use the chat function and indicate your name, outlet, and contact information, and we will facilitate those as quickly as possible immediately following the event. Thank you for your cooperation. Today is a very special day, and the regional destination management organizations who all work together and collaborate under the umbrella of the BC Regional Tourism Secretariat. What better occasion than Earth Day for our regional tourism associations to sign a letter of commitment to pursue the Responsible Tourism Institute's Biosphere certification. But today isn't just about signing a pledge. We share a number of ideals. We believe destination management organizations must address challenges such as social license, safety, and responsibility in a way that they never have before. In real terms, certification will elevate sustainability as a cornerstone of future planning. It also ensures that these efforts occur in a collective, coordinated manner throughout the tourism regions, and that we will pull on the expertise of many others who are engaged in sustainability and sustainable tourism. It will enable us to achieve thoughtful, tangible results that we can measure and improve upon versus something that may be more anecdotal. It will also communicate to travelers that we are committed to improving and enhancing a number of key areas, including sustainability, support and celebration of Indigenous cultures through tourism, and strategically guiding and managing tourism while preserving BC's natural green spaces. I am so pleased that we are joined today by some very special guests to mark this special occasion. Patricio Azcarate, General Secretary of the Responsible Tourism Institute. Patricio has more than 10 years of experience in the field of scientific research and in the tourism sector, and is responsible for the coordination and strategy of Biosphere projects. Welcome, Patricio. Dr. Dirk Gleisner is Director of the Sustainable Development Program of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. As Dr. Gleisner's title suggests, he leads efforts on behalf of the World Tourism Organization to address the many challenges and opportunities of tourism development, including environmental planning. Dr. Gleisner, it is an honor and a pleasure to welcome you today. Dr. Paul Rogers, co-founder and director of Planet Happiness. Dr. Rogers is an independent consultant with more than 20 years of experience in the areas of tourism policy, planning, and global development. His network and approach are uniquely placed to engage and support the sector and the planet to help build back better, happier, and primed for sustainability. Dr. Rogers, thank you for joining us today. My friend Frank Antoine, who is well known in this part of the world, the co-founder of Moccasin Trails and Kamloops, is a strong cultural ambassador who is proud to share the traditional knowledge he carries. Frank has contributed a great deal as a member of several tourism boards, including the Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association and Indigenous Tourism British Columbia. He is also very well acquainted with the significance of today's announcement, having played a key part in the certification process involving Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association. Frank, thank you so much for bringing your unique brand of passion to today's announcement. I would also like to welcome our regional leaders that I work with every day, who include Ellen Walker-Matthews, Senior Vice President and Acting CEO, Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association, Amy Thacker, CEO, Caribou-Chilcotin Coast Tourism Association, Clint Fraser, CEO of Northern British Columbia Tourism Association, and Kathy Cooper, CEO of Kootenay Rockies Tourism Association. This week, as many of us on this call are well aware, is a busy week with lots of announcements about travel restrictions and a budget week for busy provincial politicians. Unfortunately, that means that the Honorable Melanie Mark, Minister of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport, is unable to join us today. However, the Honorable Minister did provide me with a letter that she asked that I read on her behalf. On behalf of Premier John Horgan and the Government of British Columbia, I'd like to welcome everyone to joining the BC Regional Tourism Secretariat's Virtual Earth Day initiative. We know our continued focus on efforts to protect our environment and fight climate change stretch beyond today. BC's world-class reputation for natural beauty is well-deserved, but comes with a strong responsibility of sustainable stewardship. Collectively, we have seen that the importance of outdoor spaces has never been more pronounced as it has been throughout the pandemic. I'm extremely proud of the regional destination management organizations for the leadership they have shown in their commitment to our environment and their initiative in the collaboration approach to pursuing the Biosphere certification for tourism destinations. This recognition will position our province as a world leader in the tourism industry for years to come. Sustainability is a pillar of BC's strategic framework for tourism, and as we work to balance future visitor demand and protect the experiences and natural assets we value, we also are working with Indigenous tourism leaders to grow and develop this sector as BC's Indigenous peoples BC's Indigenous peoples can share their culture and traditions and can help residents and visitors create strong connections to the land. When the time is right to welcome visitors back to BC, we want sustainable tourism that is supportive of wildlife, the environment, the people and businesses can thrive for generations to come. Thank you for your continued work and dedication to protect BC's environment. Tuya Kissim Nissim. It is now my pleasure to introduce Patricio Azcarate, General Secretary of the Responsible Tourism Institute, who has joined us to mark this very important occasion.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. Well, first of all, it's a very, very great pleasure to have you all here, at least online. We will be so much happy when we can travel and I can get there and know you in person. I would like to thank you and welcome this four region for the Biosphere in the Biosphere destination community and the Biosphere family. And we are starting now a process that is a continuous process of continuous improvement in sustainability. Well, for those that don't know Responsible Tourism Institute and the Biosphere level, I will not introduce you 25 years of history, but it is important to mark where are we and what are we doing. As you know, United Nations in 2015 with the Agenda 2030, they released the 70 Sustainable Development Goals that are developed with 169 concrete goals. For this, to see if we are achieving this goal, there are 2032 indicators, international indicators, that we have to see, we have to measure to know if we are in this continuous improvement as a humanity. In this structure, in this idea, there is an entity that is the Sustainable Development Solution Network, the SDSN, that is a United Nations related entity funded by Kofi Annan. That with the help we're doing with them, we analyze the criteria of what does the industry has to do to improve in this continuous to achieve these goals, what and how do they have to do it. And this is the structure we release with the Biosphere new methodology, Biosphere sustainable lifestyle, that is connected with the general structure of the Biosphere methodology. it's important also to make attention of what is a destination, what must be a destination, and as it was released also in the four events that were sponsored by UNESCO and WTO with the support of my friend Dirk Lesser that is here with us today during the 2017 years of Sustainable Tourism for Development. That a destination and the work that has to be achieved with the sustainability has to involve an holistic vision, and that's what Biosphere do with the work with the administration, the companies, the workers that are in the company, the customer and the citizens, and the communicators. All together, we can see if the tourism can help to achieve these 169 goals, and that is a target, and that is what is real sustainable tourism. Just to finalize and to thank you everyone here, this structure and that we are doing and we are doing with you is also developing in other territories of Colombia, Argentina, Spain, Finland, and many others. So thank you very much for attending, and I will happy to be there. So thank you.
Thanks you, Patricio. You'll be helping us do the signing in a little bit. Thank you. The Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association has achieved this certification, and it's the first tourism destination management organization in Canada to achieve this status. Ellen Walker-Matthews is the Senior Vice President and Acting CEO of the Thompson Tourism Association and is here to speak of their experience through this process. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, Anthony, and welcome to everyone. Appreciate you joining us here today. As Anthony said, I'm Ellen Walker-Matthews, and I'm currently the Acting President and CEO of the Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association. And today I'm speaking to you from the ancestral and territorial lands of the Syilx people, where we are honored to live, work, and play. I wanted to first start by saying Happy Earth Day to all of you. I think we know now more than ever the importance of this day and how all of our actions, no matter what walk of life we are in, what industry we are in, need to focus on the protection of our world. As the song goes, we are all just visitors here, and it is a privilege, not a right, for us to collectively share the land and the water with the Earth's wildlife, keeping it safe and healthy for all. Our regional journey at the Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association through sustainability began with the development of our 10-year regional strategy, which was completed in 2012. Through meetings and workshops with our stakeholders over every corner of the region, they underscored the importance of sustainable tourism development. It was their collective feedback that stressed that need to have the right visitor in the right place at the right time. And we heard that over and over again as we traveled around the region. TOTA wanted to ensure that the steps we took would show we were more than listening, that we were actually actioning their concerns. For us, this meant not just developing a charter of sustainability, but one that could perhaps rest on the shelf. This had to be a stronger approach. We embarked on a process whereby we would commit to a responsible, sustainable tourism product, measure our programs, and really become accountable for the long term. In 2016, we initiated a search for an organization that could assist us in pursuing certification and accreditation and guide us on this path. After reviewing a number of different options, we selected to work with the Responsible Tourism Institute and the Biosphere certification program, which we successfully achieved in doing in November of 2017. This certification allows a region to showcase how they take sustainability seriously, but also ensures that they are accountable to make the necessary and ongoing improvements in the alignment with the 17 Sustainable Development Goal areas. Since achieving certification status, the team at TOTA has been working with regional communities, tourism stakeholders, and others to broaden the reach of this initiative. We created the Biosphere Commitment Program and more recently unveiled the new Biosphere Academy to assist regional businesses in their sustainability efforts. One example of this is our eco-efficiency program, whereby our team at TOTA works one-on-one with stakeholders to provide guidance for reducing energy, water, and waste outputs through an on-site assessment program, as well as providing carbon software training. As an organization, we have also taken steps to measure the effectiveness of the region's goals for sustainability by participating in the UNWTO International Network of Sustainable Tourism Observatories, where we are able to work together with destinations worldwide, sharing best practice, identifying areas of concern, and helping monitor our collective progress. Finally, very recently, we have commenced the development of an impact dashboard that will bring a wide variety of tourism measures under one umbrella and help us all to better understand and guide us for the future. Sustainability is a lifelong pursuit, not a one and done initiative. We are very proud to be working closely with the various members of the international community on this and extremely excited to have our regional colleagues from BCRTS join us on this path. Thank you again and happy Earth Day.
Thanks, Ellen. Our next speaker is Dr. Dirk Gleisner, Director of the Sustainable Development Program of the United Nations World Tourism Organization. Joining us from Spain, Dr. Gleisner is leader in his work that is focused on the many challenges and opportunities of tourism development, including environmental planning. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Gleisner.
Anthony, thank you very much for these very kind words. And just to start, I wanted to reflect together with you on the principles of sustainability and the connection with the current pandemic. If this pandemic has taught us a lesson, then it's the one that if we forget about sustainability, this has a price, and nature will remind us of that. I've been working on pandemics now for many, many years, knowing that this is one of the major threats for the tourism sector. However, it is difficult to pursue over there this just by thinking of pandemic preparedness. The current big discussion recognizes that the best preparedness strategy is an increased sustainability. Sustainability in that sense is not only a cost, it's an investment into our resilience of our societies and the tourism sector. I wanted to tell you a story, a personal story about sustainability tourism in Canada. They are very interestingly connected. Back then, in the 90s, long before I joined UNWTO, the tourism sector basically measured its success in economic dimensions, arrivals, receipts, and was totally disconnected from the world of sustainability. The delegate of Canada back then reminded UNWTO Secretary General of the need to better address this issue and engaged in the Committee of Tourism and Sustainability in what then later on led to the very first publication titled "What Tourism Managers Need to Know," making already clear that it's not just about the measurement of sustainability, but that it is to enable the managers with the right evidence to drive this change. This was later on followed by in 2004 by the very first publication on indicators for sustainable tourism development, a publication thick, big, comprehensive, which triggered many international processes, certification, GSTC, ETIS. The indicators discussion in the tourism sector was heavily influenced by this consultation process and the publication we released back then. This is the need to look behind or beyond the economic dimension. But what do you do when you have on sale a tourism product which is very complex and very difficult for the consumer to assess? Even if you are committed to sustainability and the processes, it is very difficult to communicate that sincerely to the customer. This is why certification systems back then emerged to address this problem. The tourism product, because it is produced in the future, at the moment of purchase and the moment of consumption. It has distance involved between the point from where the consumer is buying it and where he actually will consume or enjoy it. It is mainly intangible, dominated product by service components. And that makes the tourism product, and that is what I just wanted to remind everybody here, one of the most complicated products on sale. It is a trust and belief product. That were the origins of certification systems back then, which enabled consumers then to see a commitment, a sincere commitment, validated by a certification system being on sale. But in the meantime, this world continued to evolve, and it's no longer about just the tick to having achieved the right certification. This the necessity, as Ellen mentioned it before rightly, the necessity to initiate a process. Sustainability is not an end state, but it's a continuously advancing process. For this process, you need to find a partner which suits your mentality, culture, and objectives, so that you finally learn, inhale, and make this process influencing your own DNA. Tota is for us a very good example of this continuously innovating, committing, and looking ahead destination. It has been, as Alan correctly said before, recognized as the first observatory in Canada committed to continuously monitoring sustainability, basing it on evidence. We need committed leaders like that. And we thank you that on this specific day, so many more are joining you, making this journey a worthwhile journey, benefiting local populations, indigenous people, and the customers. I thank you very much and wish you happy Earth Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Glasser. Also joining us from Europe is Dr. Paul Rogers, another international leader who has more than 20 years of experience in the areas of tourism policy, planning, and global development. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Please, would like to hear your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. As mentioned there, I'm a tourism policy and planner, which means I typically provide technical support to prepare national tourism strategies as well as destination management plans, often for national parks and protected areas. I got into this wonderful area of work by being a backpacker. In 1989, when things weren't working out for me in the UK, I went traveling, and one of the first places I went was to Nepal, trekking up to the Mount Everest base camp. For me, this was a life-changing experience. Besides being captivated by the enormity and the majesty of the world's highest mountains, I was fascinated by the Sherpas, these wonderfully warm and friendly people, the guardians, gatekeepers, and custodians of this incredible landscape, with their rich culture, who welcomed us on every step of our journey. Such was the awe and inspiration that I enjoyed, I didn't want to leave. Like everyone else, I knew tourism would change this place, and that it wasn't just the Sherpa community that wanted more visitors. After all, the government and a wide range of businessmen and women were all engaged in promoting and facilitating tourism growth. Of course, there's nothing unusual about this. This is something that governments and businesses do in almost every country around the world. What fascinated me is whether the Sherpas' hopes, dreams, and aspirations for what tourism might deliver would actually be achieved, or would some other reality take over and leave their dreams in tatters. I decided that I needed to learn more. I wanted to spend at least a full year living up there in the mountains with the Sherpas. Besides wanting to learn more about their culture and to understand their hopes and aspirations, I wanted to know what policies and management systems were being developed to adapt and cope with the growth. So one thing led to another, and I ended up doing a PhD on what is ecotourism, and is the Sagarmatha National Park, as it's known locally, an example of ecotourism. I was fortunate to do this PhD with a UK-based organisation called the International Centre for Protected Landscapes. And in the course of my studies, I learned about the value of cultural landscapes and biosphere reserves in fostering local, national, and global sustainability. I also learned about the critical role that Indigenous cultures play in protecting these landscapes and celebrating their core values. 30 years later, having learned so much through many assignments in countries like Bhutan, Myanmar, Mozambique, China, Laos, and many more, and being privileged to be guided in this work by the views of so many extraordinary people equally committed to developing sustainable and responsible forms of tourism, I've co-founded a project called Planet Happiness. I've done this in the absolute belief that the happiness and well-being agenda is of profound importance to this world of ours. And here I should pause and make reference to Bhutan, this small yet truly Himalayan kingdom, widely known as the birthplace of gross national happiness, that in 1972 decided to prioritize happiness over GDP, or gross domestic product. For it is the people of Bhutan, this small indigenous family of some 700,000 people, that have inspired the world to move away from a reliance upon economic metrics to measure a nation's progress and development. Today, the happiness or well-being agenda is being taken up by enlightened governments around the world. Think New Zealand, Iceland, and the UAE, for example. Indeed, all European governments are actively engaged in some form of happiness measurement and policy making. Building on this inspired progress, I believe that the tourism industry, this extraordinary life-changing industry, can help us accelerate the take-up of the happiness and well-being agenda. Today, here and now, in the midst of this tragic and awful COVID-19 pandemic, it's abundantly clear that we need to reset and start doing things differently. And in this search to do things differently, it seems to me that as peoples of all shades and colour, we need to look to our own core values. As representatives of the tourism industry, if we want to avoid over-tourism and build back better as one of the world's largest employers, we need to place the happiness and well-being of host communities front and centre. At Planet Happiness, we use the terms happiness, well-being, and quality of life interchangeably. They each have exactly the same meaning. We believe, as I'm sure everyone here today does, that it's the purpose of our governments, whether local, provincial, or national, to focus on improving the quality of our lives. After all, that's why we vote and we pay our taxes. At Planet Happiness, we also believe that as tourism stakeholders, whether governments, businesses, or visitors, if we truly value this industry, if we want to advocate its merits over its weaknesses, we can build our way out of this COVID-19 mess by recognizing the imperative to value and measure tourism's contribution to destination well-being. This can be done by engaging residents and measuring individual and community well-being across 11 internationally recognized domains or aspects of our lives that directly contribute to our quality of life. I'll end by thanking the conveners for inviting me to speak here with you at this excellent event, wishing you all well moving forward with today's announcement, and by sharing this short video introducing the work of Planet Happiness. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers, and thank you for the presentation of the video. While Hannah switches us around, I will just introduce, last but not least, our friend, my friend, Frank Antoine, who's the last speaker today, and then afterwards we'll have a signing ceremony, who is well known. Frank is well known to many of us for his long and dedicated commitment to the tourism sector and the passion that he brings to any discussion about the desire to move to a more sustainable tourism sector. Frank, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Anthony. Wag, Preso Kisquas, Lat Klu, Slickstaus, Swakam Ulu. I'm on the unceded territory of my Swakam traditional lands of the Shuswap Nation, which is a part of the interior Salish of British Columbia. I guess when I really think about what we have to talk about today and what we're signing, you always got to start from somewhere, and it's always that pebble in the pond effect. And for me, it's always, we're doing it on Earth Day. And again, you have to look back why did we pick April 22nd? It's because it started in 1970. 20 million people actually protested because of the environmental issues we were dealing back then and what we're still dealing with today. Why are we carrying to continue to, why are we doing this to carry this national day to continue to move forward? It's like my daughter, she's planting flowers in her classroom today because of Earth Day. It's a personal journey for her that she's doing something that's important, as doing something that's simple for children. And as adults, this is what we're doing to make sure that we're following and making sure that we keep forward. So now there's billions of people doing this. And that's exactly what our population around the world, and listening to the speakers before me around the world today, we're all sitting around this fire, and it's really awesome to hear the work that's being done on this earth. So, I'm here to talk about how does this fit into traditional values and laws. And for me, it's our ancestors. We've been following this system in our life cycles for generations, and it's the land, animals, and people. And it's something that I really believe in, and it's something we're finally aligning two worlds that have the same results for the next generation to come. And for me, that's biosphere sustainability is the new word, but an old teaching. And it really gives me the opportunity, I really got the opportunity to be really involved with Toda when they started this road, and to be recognized around the world, winning the awards. But it wasn't so much the awards that I got to experience. I got to experience other countries. And when I used to fly, when I flew in back into Canada, I was so appreciative we had more land than people. And listening to some of the comments that were coming out, it's so true to me that, COVID-19 actually made us all have to stop and listen. And that's, again, our creator, our higher power is telling us we have to slow down and start making the right decisions. And everybody always uses the word reset, and it's not reset, it's a rebirth, because we're not changing where we come from, we're actually growing again. It's like having the baby in the womb and giving us the opportunity to grow again together. And that really means a lot to me. And how I represent that, even though my daughter's out there, planting flowers, I wear my, I guess my rebirth is actually every morning I wake up and I braid my hair, and I make sure that it gives me the opportunity of the 7 generations. The left strand represents my great grandparents, my grandparents, my parents that taught me the culture free of charge, and to make sure that I'm carrying on those traditions and values into my day-to-day, sitting here speaking in front of all of you. And that's my middle braid, that's the present. And my future, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and that's my right strand. So every morning when I braid my hair, I'm tying in all the generations together. And once I'm done my praying, in my mind, I look at the end, and I always make sure that every one of the ends of my hair represent the people that have been in my life. And there's people who are left before me, there are people that are still here today, and there's the next generation. So that really means a lot to me. And that word to me that really resonates, everything we always talk about always comes back to that word kanuchantwa. It means working together. physically and mentally. And ever since I've been on this journey with TODA, with Biosphere Sustainability, it's given me the opportunity to actually recognize what the people are doing on this earth. And Biosphere Sustainability gives you that economic, social, and environmental approach. And when I really look at the opportunities that we're doing today with this and the signing and everything we're doing, it's making us accountable, not just as groups, as people, but we're doing it for our own selves. Because when you're actually sitting here today, you're actually looking at yourselves after this is all said and done in an hour or whatever it takes this circle to finish. We have to shut this down and go home and really look at what we're actually doing in our everyday lives to do that. So again, when I'm sitting here, I look at the land. When I look outside my window, I thank the clouds, I thank the trees, I thank the birds. I thank everything that I see with my eyes, and I smell, I hear, the five senses, but also what I wear and why I wear the paws on me and why I wear this vest. It's an elk vest that was made for me, because the animals never have a voice. If we're going to be the voice, we need to make sure that we include them into this conversation. It's not just about our future and our past. It's also about how our animals are suffering today and our natural resources, because tourism has given us that opportunity to grow and give back, and we don't have that impact like most other industries that are extracting from our land, from Mother Earth. I call Mother Earth. And for us to really value that in our everyday lives and be conscious of how we're taking care of her, she will take care of us. And I think right now with COVID, it's a new word, biosphere sustainability, but it's an old teaching, and I really believe in that. And the one piece that I love sharing is that Kanukantua, is because this video that I'm going to play right now, it shows that relationship that we have, not just with ourselves, but with the land and the animals. So you can play that. So Cook's Jam, thank you.
Supramka, Kalatnamka, Pista. In these difficult times of being distant and separated, it's our traditional values that bring us together. The lifeblood of our region is our land, water, animals, and our people. Wisdom embedded in the cultural, ancestral roots of our land. To learn the ways of the indigenous people is to learn how to heal our past, ensure our future is strong. We acknowledge the values and gifts that we have received from Mother Earth. Kids playing, families together, elders with grandchildren. We create new memories. Life moves forward. Look at our neighbors in a bright light, in a new way. Think of the choices you make and how you live. A land renewed, replenished. Supramka, Kalatnamka, Pista.
Thank you, Frank. My hands are raised to you once again. A guiding principle of the BCRTS here today, and my colleagues that will now be signing is Kinukatoa. We've learned that from Frank, and it's how we paddle together. So thank you, as always, Frank, for your passion. And with that, I would now like to invite Patricio Escarate back to the screen, and he will invite each of our regional CEOs to sign the Responsible Tourism Institute's letter of commitment.
Thank you. Well, it's a great pleasure to introduce Amy Trucker, CEO of the Caribou Chilcotin Coast Tourism Association.
Thank you, Patricio, and welcome everybody. I'm honored to join you today from the unceded and traditional territories of the Secwepemc peoples. Today's signing marks the first step in an important process that will see the establishment of strategic goals and actions that ensure ongoing, responsible, and holistic growth of the tourism sector in the Caribou-Chilcotin Coast. This commitment continues our long history of being inclusive of environmental protection and improvement, our residents, our heritage, including Indigenous peoples and all cultures. The Biosphere process will encourage continuing discussions on issues related to cultural diversity, inclusion, and regional sustainability, strengthening and forming new collaborative partnerships, and finally, implementing regenerative initiatives and projects that create conditions where businesses, communities, people, and the natural environment can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For me, also, it's a great pleasure to introduce Clint Fraser, CEO of the Northern British Columbia Tourism Association.
Thank you, Patricio, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clint Fraser, and I'm the CEO of the Northern BC Tourism Association. I'd like to acknowledge today that I'm speaking to you from the traditional unceded territory of the Lheidli people here in beautiful Prince George, British Columbia. Northern British Columbia is one of the last great wildernesses on the planet. Places like the Muskwa-Kachika Management Area, Tumbler Ridge UNESCO Global Geopark, and the Kootsmatine Grizzly Bear Sanctuary, among many others, have been defined as iconic features in Northern BC, and these pristine wilderness areas are not only foundational to the people who live here, but also what make our destination desirable to visitors from around the world. Signing this letter of commitment today on Earth Day is an important step forward in implementing our 10-year destination development strategies, of which a primary objective is to maintain the environmental integrity of our destination. This work will ensure that the resources upon which tourism depends, the natural features, wildlife and fisheries, habitat, water resources, and air quality are well managed over the long term. It also signals our commitment to working with partners throughout Northern BC to build a tourism model based on principles of sustainability, cultural diversity, and social responsibility. As an initial step, Northern BC Tourism Association will be offering tourism businesses in our region free sustainability assessments. These assessments will provide an opportunity for businesses to review their current state, offer benchmarking, and support to develop a customized sustainability action plan. Through this process, we'll continue to steward our northern tourism industry and sustainable practice and aim to continue building vibrant northern communities, healthy natural ecosystems, and sustainable development for all. I'd like to thank everyone, particularly those from the North, for joining us today to mark this special occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for me, it's a pleasure to introduce Kathy Cooper, CEO of the Kootenai Rookies Tourism Association. Kathy, please.
Thank you very much, Patrice. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Earth Day. My name is Kathy Cooper, and I am the CEO of Kootenai Rockies Tourism Association, and I'm speaking to you today from the unceded traditional homelands of the Ktunaxa people, where I am proud and grateful to live, work, and play. Here in the Kootenai Rockies region, we're blessed with rich and diverse ecosystems and incredible landscapes, of which a wide portion is protected through 4 national parks, over 75 provincial parks, and another dozen protected area designations. This region is home to the majestic Columbia wetlands, recognized as a Ramsar site, a wetland of international importance, of which you can get a glimpse of on my Zoom background. As the Regional Destination Management Organization, we have a duty to contribute to the preservation of our land, our water, and our people. Our organization's sustainability journey began in 2019, with the first step being the development of a regional sustainability charter. This initiative was identified as a key objective in the 10-year regional destination development strategy that we have. The pursuit of international recognition through the Responsible Tourism Institute seals Kootenay Rockies Tourism's Association commitment towards contributing to a better future for our communities, our tourism stakeholders, and residents, as well as environmental and cultural preservation. Kootenay Rocky Tourism's commitment to sustainable tourism practices is realized through programs and incentives that directly and effectively support tourism operators in achieving their own sustainability goals. I invite you to reach out to our team or visit our corporate website at krtourism.ca to find out more about the programs available. And I am pleased to sign this letter of commitment. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And now, last but not least, Anthony Everett, please, CEO of the Twins Vancouver Island.
Thank you. It is a moving thing for me to be with you today, to see the culmination of the start of a journey that we are all on. My regional colleagues who have just all signed and committed, along with Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association. These people are people that we work with every day, and I'm very proud that Tourism Vancouver Island is joining this group. And I'm proud even more of my team, the board, and all the communities and businesses on Vancouver Island that have helped us start this journey. It came out of our destination development plans. We know we are stewards, and we are here for this commitment. We're committing today to the long term of our destination around sustainability and principles of reconciliation and with our Indigenous people. We're proud today. We look forward to working with you and people on Vancouver Island as we go along this path. We are passionate and we are committed, and we look forward to it. We are surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, and we want to steward to the benefit of that ocean, for the benefit of that ocean. Thank you very much, Patricio, and thank you very much to the Responsible Tourism Institute for giving us the opportunity to work with you as we are on this path together. And I look forward to the years ahead as we take on this work. With that, as the host today, on behalf of my regional colleagues, this is indeed a proud moment. We've heard from many illustrious speakers. These are inspiring, and they have done what was necessary today on Earth Day for us to remember why we're doing this and our commitment to our environment and our planet. Thank you. As mentioned earlier, we're at the end of our session today. As mentioned earlier, for media who have questions or would like to conduct an interview, please use the chat function and indicate your name, outlet, and contact information. We'll facilitate those as quickly as possible. We will stay online for a few additional minutes, so if you haven't done so, you can do that now. If you have any technical issues doing that, please contact Kelly Gleason at 604-240-6231, who will ensure these questions you have or these interviews will be facilitated quickly. I would like to thank everyone that spoke today, all our esteemed speakers, and on this special occasion, knowing that this is just the first step in this journey. It's an exciting journey, and we're ready to embark on it. I would also like to thank all of you who took time out of your busy days and the businesses who we serve for being here. Have a great Earth Day, everyone, and thank you for joining us.